And the beautiful city of Beijing awaits you, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into Game 2 of Top Esports vs JDG, our non-matchup of the week, Welcome back, I'm Hysterics, this is Raz, and this match is already delivered from one singular side in Top Esports, just kicking ass.
Yeah, Top's great.
Yeah.
I think just based off of, I'm going to already just spoil it for everybody. Boom, MVP, one person. Who do you think is going to be? Boom!
You don't even need to be told that.
Yeah!
Everyone should know.
How did he die? I actually don't remember him dying.
He died when he went for the Jace over the wall and he got killed by Kanavi.
Okay, that's true. That's true. But man, he went wild this game. And we already talked about how he was their major point strength past his initial gank, gets a solo kill mid, goes top lane, gets a solo kill on the Jace, gets another one. Like, he literally just went wild this one. So being able to pick up his 8th MVP. We're talking about players you need to watch in the LPL. It's this man.
Huge shout out to Aki, who got him that first kill and got him off the bat rolling. They played towards the condition that Top Esports have played to many times before.
But just take a look at these situations where JD are desperate to get vision in towards the Dragon and to stop Top, and Top recognizes. Okay, well, what are we going to do? At least force them to face check. The Nautilus is not tanky whatsoever at this stage, and pick these fights. And this is another great one from Knight. The bush was warded. What are you going to do? Follows in through a flash, and thankfully, you know, LvMao was there just being able to get him with the hook.
Yeah.
But this is how strong he was at this portion of the game. Doesn't matter how much CC and damage coming in initially. He just slayed the back line in that triple kill.
And got to a point where Top were unstoppable. Triple kill, as you mentioned. Kanavi ends up dying a very slow but sure death in the end. So props to, I gave promise to, praise is the word, to Aki in that first game. 0, 0, and 11. A very good entrance to the LPL.
I think one of the greatest challenges to players coming in initially and competitive is whether they can play a slow and smart game.
Right.
Because you can play the solo queue, see hero, kill hero style, go for ganks, and see if the initial goal value can carry over. But what you saw in this one was, you know, the typical trading sides based off vertical jungling, recognizing that the side you want to stick to, which was the GP side, the top lane, being able to find those dives and succeed off that, not overreach. That's already better than XX to a degree, because a lot of the times XX is someone who wants to get that kill. If they don't get the kill, then can make mistakes. But just such a great debut there from Aki. Of course, really easy if your solo laners are just that good performing and your bot lane is able to actually deal with the 2v2 well enough on their own.
So maybe then the praise goes more so to Chocho as well, because the Tahm Kench played well. His, I guess, debut in summer in the Top Esports roster as a support.
Everyone deserves praise on that one. That's one of those games where you give them a lot of leeway to play poorly.
Yeah.
Just because new dynamics and everything, you already got yourself a slip, which is like, oh, this is my excuse, my friend. This is, if I lose a game, this is why. They didn't get that opportunity. They just slammed the enemy team based off solo lane play. Their support and jungler were actually always in the right position. I feel for LvMao because mid lane wave was always held to a good position, so he couldn't get any.
He was there 3 times. He
tried
something mid.
He tried.
Top night.
You can't say he didn't try.
Yeah.
He went top lane, and he was not fast enough because that dive went through very easily. So I think LvMao recognized where he needed to be, but was always a little bit too slow for the punch.
I'll also give props to Kanavi. I think Kanavi was trying to play very proactively and stop the surge of Top Esports. Unfortunately, he'll be subbing out for Game 2, so we're going into Flawless back on JDG, who has been the better jungler for this team.
I love the fact that they're giving them the shot.
Yeah.
Giving them the chance to have that experience on stage. The only caveat to that is, remember, they're below 500 currently. They're a team that is sitting just outside of the playoffs. Losing this game, you're never going to have your chance to play up against Top again during the regular season. So if you don't get this chance, you look towards your remaining games, and if they are looking to be tough, then good luck, right?
Yeah.
There's a possibility you won't make it with how BLG's been playing, with how now apparently Rogue Warriors have been playing.
That's it.
There are a lot of teams that are currently surging, so you have to be able to watch your back.
It'd be a big fall for a team like JDG, but off the back of Rift Rivals, now we're looking towards our Rift Rivals team. Because remember, Kanavi only played 1 game during the group stage, and this was the team that, you know, finished things out against Damwon Gaming.
Yeah, and I think JD, the way they're currently looking, I think relies on Flawless.
Yeah.
So Flawless right now, he's always been that early game hero. Always been able to bridge them to where they need to be in the mid game.
Yep.
From what you saw in this game, kind of need that.
That's true.
They kind of require that. So I'm interested to see what we get here. It's not as if you already mentioned that Kanavi played poorly. I think that it was a good game from him.
Probably one of the best performing members.
Exactly. I think if you were to pin fault and blame, I'd put a lot of that on Yagao, actually.
Yep.
Warding, leaning to the right side. Also, a lot of the times there's miscommunication between what he needs from his jungler because his wave was actually being held by Knight consistently.
All the time.
I was about 2 to 3 times, and he never got the wave shoved, pushing back towards him.
Yep.
He never really kept it in his side of the court, so he never made it easy for his teams to be able to get those ganks. So that's the only point of criticism I'd put. And if you ever lose that one kill, yeah, that's the game.
It was rough for Yagao, but it's also a shame because coming into this matchup, we were hyping up the mid lane. Knight versus Yagao.
It's a 3-game series.
I know, but game 1, I'm allowed to have an opinion that Yagao, after game 1, wasn't as exciting as maybe Rift Rivals. The Zoe we finally got to see. Even the Jace, I thought Yagao looked heightened on the international stage.
Yeah.
But no.
So hopefully the next game is his shot, because I love his Jace, his Zoe. I think at the moment it's looking like he's only able to accomplish those 2 champions, and this is my biggest challenge to Yagao as a player. I would like to see him, I'm not saying expand his champion pool, but have one, especially after the last patch hit a lot of those champions, that he doesn't have to rely on specifically just those 2 picks. The most powerful one, of course, being the Sylas. I want to see him expand more than just the Jace and Zoe. I think the Malzahar is too much of a stretch. I don't want to see him go back to the Malzahar.
Not Rise. He still hasn't won on Rise in 2019.
Yeah, and I think this is a side discussion that we're going to have during the Champion Select. But my issue is that a lot of people are counting Rise out. And I think Rise is still incredibly relevant.
He's still got a big punch.
I think they actually buffed his numbers. They buffed his wave clear. The only major nerf is the fact that he's not going to go Aftershock because his Rune Prison did get nicked.
And remember as well, the Realm Warp has the big range from the get-go. So 3 levels in the ulti. Potential to roam a lot earlier for the Rise. So for Yagao, he could have it as a redeeming factor.
He just doesn't have, to the point about Yagao, regardless of the state of Rise, he's not a good Rise player.
That's true.
So
fair.
That's the only thing that we have for Yagao.
I always try and just put it, put it in a bubble and just hope it works.
I think if we're looking towards top TOP, the TOP is going to have that Rise in their basket.
Of course.
And I think that the only thing is Rise is not going to be first pickable. Rise is not going to be the safest champion at all times because of Aftershock. But he has a good lanes, and I think we'll see it when the time comes. And I love the fact that we're, once again,
looking at Aki there.
Got to have that light shining on Aki. Sure, in this kind of situation, there's always going to be some nervousness in it. 100%. You're playing that first game. But you could already see, based off his last performance, there's nothing to sweat about.
Yeah.
He has a great amount of players next to him who are always confident, especially Knight. And he himself, Aki's playing real well for himself. So I'm not sweating at all.
Some of the support behind players like Knight, you mentioned 369. I didn't mention in that game the fact that 369 played Gangplank against Zoom. It's always a fun matchup when you see who I consider the best Gangplank in the league go down to his own champion.
Yeah, I would call Zoom best GP in the world at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a difficult discussion because I know Impact is a pretty damn good GP player.
I put Gimgoon up there as well, just as a reference.
Fair enough. I think Zoom, who consistently showed himself to be the stronger talent of the 2.
Yep.
And on top of that, has always been a great GP player. And now you got to be thinking, if you're Zoom, do you want to pick up that GP? Especially with how much power it had in that lane. In that situation, I think that he's more than willing to pick it up.
Getting a look at the posters. 3 + 6 equals 9. A really good find there, Raz. Looking at the posters behind, I saw Aki on the poster. Also saw Chocho there as well. So some teams put the full roster in, and that's always nice. Especially since today, you're getting your first look at them. And moments before we get into the matchup and into game 2, hoping for a change-up. Now, not saying that there was anything wrong with the draft, but I would love to see, as you mentioned, the change-up for Yagao's champion pool specifically, and how maybe Flawless comes in and impacts with a new jungle pick.
A lot of the times you really do challenge the individual players to just come in and play better the next game. And sometimes it's just as simple as that. And I think another good help is, I did reference communication between him and his jungler. And a lot of that is if the wave clear is not going to be as helpful on your end, and you're not able to get the wave shoving back in towards you, then you do need to be able to call in your jungler. And multiple times he didn't have that. And so that's something that I'll look back on, and hopefully in the next game it's getting much better with Flawless.
I was going to ask you, back when you were a coach, you coached for Dig, was there any communication issues you had on your team, or like any? I can't remember the roster. I'm old.
So
young.
Thankfully, I mean, we had players that all spoke the English language, so that was never an issue about like not being able to understand each other. More so differences in how they wanted to play the game. So those are constant with any team that is struggling to find their way, and that's a good question because JD's been a team that has been changing their styles seemingly series to series.
We had Levi last split, who same communication issues were there, but this time Flawless coming in for game 2, and JDG onto the blue side this time immediately. The Jace being banned away from the side of Top Esports.
All right, so already taking the Jace away, as you mentioned, so Yagao's going to have to find something different in the series.
Yes, he will.
So remember, if he finds himself on that Zoe, panic. I still think that this is. I think Zoe's going to be picked in this series no matter what because both players are adept at the champion. Knight's Zoe and Jace are equally as good, if not a little bit better, than Yagao's Zoe and Jace. So they're great poking players. Like their poke and how they're able to gain advantages off of that is second to none.
Further to that, it might be exciting to see something like the LeBlanc matchup there as well, which both players have played in the past, but targeted towards Top Esports. The Kench was the final ban from JDG, and the Silas being banned away from the jungle, while JDG look around the Lux support.
Surprised that it was a Lux pickup instead of a Yuumi first pick.
Yeah.
Yuumi is usually the first pickable one, and Lux is usually the response to that. But JD is the type of team that really values that pick potential, and that's something that Yuumi lacks in hard CC, but certainly the dominance in lane is something you have to look towards. So LokeN is a fabulous Lucian player.
I will ask and pose that I said this yesterday that the Lux can be flexed around as a small possibility. The likes of Genji Fly in the mid lane making his re-debut in the LCK proved that.
It's happened a lot in North America as well.
That's true.
So you're 100% right. I just expect it to be the support. If you're picking up the Lux first pick going up against the Yuumi, technically you can still go towards the Nautilus to be fair, but I think it's just your best option, and LvMao is a great Lux player, so it makes a lot of sense. But back to my point on Lucian.
Please.
We saw what Lucian did when Deft was on it.
Yeah.
Deft and Tucson tore their opponents to pieces with this one. So we also saw it back in the LCK, because if you actually pick up the Lucian, you don't have to go rapid fire cannon whatsoever. You can actually just go Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Because the Ardent Sensor that the Yuumi will have and will continue to apply on you with their healing is going to give you that attack speed.
Makes him unkillable on that third item with the Zoomies heal as well. So impossible to kill. Bottom lane secured for Top Esports. Over to JDG though, Raz, because Caitlyn, Lux, kill lane for the bottom side of JDG if it's there, and the Mordekaiser onto Zoom.
Let's go! I want to see a Mordekaiser. You know, you've been looking through all the interactions with Mordekaiser, just trying to do your due diligence.
I have.
On just everything. That there's consistency amongst some champions. Don't have some consistency.
Yeah, you're like, what's going on?
But this is going to be a fun one to be able to see how Mordekaiser fares in the hands of Zoom.
That's right. You're going up against 369 on Gangplank once again. Remember, Gangplank eats an orange in that Mord ult, and he's out. So good negation there from the top side of Top Esports, and it's really going to be a skill matchup for Zoom to play around with.
It's going to be real fun, especially since a lot of the times the best matchups for the GP is melee matchups where his barrels are not going to be contested.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good one to see how Top Esports can fare, especially if they end up throwing Aki on the top side of the map again.
Of course, it means the jungle pressure is going to be very important here for the top sides, as Gragas now the priority to ban away by JDG. But Top Esports know Yagao most likely doesn't have his mid lane. The Azir, the Nico now banned away.
There's an acute possibility of the Mordekaiser going in the mid lane, so still want to hold out on that one. JD
the Zoom
still has a few picks up their sleeve just to make sense.
If Zoom beat the Shy in the final, we heard that he was going to rename to the Zoom. Now, unfortunately, that was not the case, but in the back of our minds, that run, that Cinderella story in spring still calls him the Zoom. As back to champ selected the Sejuani being banned away from Aki, which he played in game 1.
All right. Get a chance to get a look into Aki's champion pool. He's playing all the metas, so it makes sense if he locks in the J4. Already prepared for competitive play.
Yep. Structure of Jarvan in this team comp. Very nice as the front line here is 5 seconds to find out. And it is going to be the lock-in here, so changing it up.
And the terrain that the Cataclysm provides really gives a good amount of space for Lucian to dance in.
Yeah.
So the movement speed he already has, no question to that. The dashing that he has, I mean, around the Cataclysm, he's able to get in and out of these fights. So I love the fact that this is the composition that Top Esports are rolling with. Great team fight comp.
Raz, you already have 3 champions on the side of JDG that can't get out of that unless they burn a flash. Caitlyn excluded, of course, with the 90 caliber net, but that's one ability, and Rek'Sai will add another one in there. Going for the matchup flawless, wants to punish early.
All right, let's see what we get here for the last pick on JD's side, because Rek'Sai being picked up, we don't get to see this pick nearly as often as we did a few patches back.
Yep.
But great matchup into the J4, so I'm not concerned about that one. Lock it in.
Taliyah into the mid lane. Yeah, we've seen a bit of this as we return from Rift Rivals.
And this really goes back to Yagao's identity as a player. He's completely opposite from Knight. Knight's the type that really focuses on his own lane advantage, his experience, finds himself outside lanes to accrue as much gold as possible to get to his breakpoints. Yagao's the type to just roam, to just move. Lock this one too, because you're shutting me up if you do so.
Oh.
He won't. He won't.
I teased the LeBlanc matchup though. I'd still be happy if I got Knight on LeBlanc, one of his best champions, and this man plays it to fruition. Here we go.
So that's the clashing style I'm talking about. Knight says, I'm going to hold you still. I'm looking for the kill, the advantage is within the lane, and Yagao says, I'm helping my side lanes out.
So he wants to go to that bottom lane. Look at the kill threat down there. Imp and LvMao are going to get the party of Yagao, so a very big change up here for JDG and even Top Esports coming into game too.
There's always a big payoff when Yagao moves.
Yeah.
Bot side, you're right about the Lux binding that will set you up. Of course, the trap to follow. If you go top lane, easily Mordekaiser is going to set you up with his own grab too. So there's a lot here JD can do, and if they're stuck in their own lanes and they cannot move, then the Rek'Sai will move towards you. The knocked up that Rek'Sai has, followed up with the flick, there's a lot of combinations here that will help the Taliyah out.
And most of all, I'm excited to see Zoom on the Mordekaiser, because we've only seen a couple of Mordekaisers. Gimgoon, Chung Hong from Dominus has picked it up, but Zoom, this will be his debut playing the Mordekaiser in the top lane.
Yeah, it's a very easy champion to play within the laning phase. They kept the identity of just being a lane dominant figure.
Yeah.
If you're in a melee matchup, man, that Q is going to be coming in hard. And so I think that the Mordekaiser coming into this one is going to be real fun to follow, especially in team fights.
Yeah.
Because his team fights now are just damn fun to watch. I've actually always been interested in how competitive, how we as commentators and how the production in the back are going to view his fights. When he puts you into the death realm, which fight are we going to be watching?
It's super hard to spot as well. You just go to that tinge of green, turns you into a spectral figure, and we'll keep an eye out of Zoom who he picks out.
It's fun. It's like being a part of a gang. You just watch two people throwing knives at each other, and you're like, well, we're just going to watch and wait to see who comes out as victors.
Let's see how far the knife goes here. If JDG gets stabbed again, then it'll be a 2-0 for Top Esports and a big dominant victory coming back from Rift Rivals. Our two teams continue in the series.
Summoners used by Top Esports really early on. That's the heal coming in from Chocho and the same flash from Knight. So whatever happened in the level 1, JD came out on top.
So that's great, especially LeBlanc without flash this early on. That could be abusable there if Flawless can get into the lane. Halo Blades Rek'Sai, so easy to get the damage down before the distortion comes away. Having a look bottom left, and yeah, they wanted to go in together.
Sad face.
That was close, so good flash in the end from Knight, but as I said, core summoner down this early on is very good news for JDG.
Oh, and both duo lanes starting in the lane. Now, I guess we're going to have to sell the skin, but I'm not going to. It's not going to happen. You can't get it out of me.
It's new. We have a lot of arcade skins now.
Yeah, we do.
There are a lot. Arcade and Star Guardian? Galaxy? What's it called?
Now, you put yourself in that trip.
Dark Galaxy. Dark Star. There it is. I was there somewhere along the way.
There's also the Star Guardians.
That's the one. I don't think there's enough Star Guardians. Take a quick look at the runes here, and wow.
Get back here.
Yeah, 369 just gets hemorrhaged for damage. Now remember, Zoom just needs to hit 3 abilities. And that'll be the go sign for the passive there. The Death Grasp brings him in. He has Obliterate ready rise as well. Passive comes forward. He hits it, and 369 gets alphaed at 2 minutes in the game.
I want to talk to you 1 second. One conversation, just one line.
How do you deal with that? 369 doesn't burn the flash, but he's in trouble while Flawless heads to the bottom side and Aki being spotted out. Able to get his own blue buff while action already starting across Summoner's Rift.
I just want to see the top lane and that's it. That's what dreams are made of. And if you're right now looking at the item slot for GP, he's chugging some potions. All of the potions.
He's out. Yeah.
Every potion that he had in that corruption potion's over.
Ooh, that's a great light binding from LvMao. He's going to find the stun here. The flash used. Flawless responds a little bit too late. Aki gets out, but the pressure from JDG both top and this bottom lane now all theirs.
Yeah, great flash from Aki. Just as the Rek'Sai was in range, he also knew the range of the Rek'Sai and was able to get out of there. But this is the trades that you want to see from Knight. Doesn't want to get shoved in so consistently.
Good game to have the POV stream on him as well over on Doyu. If you're wondering what that little thing is there. But push back in the lane once again, has access to Yagao. Even going to spot Flawless out, who walks past the mid lane, tunnels all the way through to the top side scuttle, looking to deny Aki even further. And
this is where you start to fear for GP.
Yeah.
Because this is the reason why he cut through mid lane. This is the lane he wants to be in for a dive. So 369 should know that and should watch out.
I love how we were talking about the ult, but then this just happens. Pre-6, it's all Zoom. He's got half a level advantage in this lane, and he's still pushing.
Well, that's the discussion, right? Like, it's always difficult to see how the matchups end up going, especially GP in a melee matchup. But you look at the Mordekaiser's Q damage and the range on that sphere around him, and certainly that doesn't look like a melee matchup. So good luck to GP. As you can see, Rek'Sai being topside for a reason.
Sure, we'll tune into him constantly as Knight's still getting some of those good trades, but Elixir of Life seems to be taken on Yagao as he gets that burst of healing from the Corrupting Potion. Also, Biscuits taken in the lane, which is going to be a rough time.
He's positioning really smartly. Whenever you have your jungler just to the left of you, a lot of the times you're willing to play a little bit more loose.
Yep.
Like, you want to look for trades a little bit more, lean to the left side of the map, but he wasn't willing to do even that. So was a little bit suspicious and plays it out well.
Pushing up in this lane as well. Before I go back to Mordekaiser, because this game it feels like it's all I care about. In the bottom side, didn't mention that the lethal tempo has been taken by the Caitlyn now. Across multiple regions, no one's really picked up on the Caitlyn just yet, but here in the LPL, we've constantly seen this as the punishing lane, and Imp taking lethal tempo means this late game Caitlyn starts ramping up.
I mean, I just love lethal tempo in general, just because of the low attack speed that Caitlyn has.
Yeah.
You won't be able to get too much out of the press the attack either. It's just not going to happen. The only real one you look towards would be fleet footwork, and even then, I mean, you're not getting too much value out of it, especially if you're in a lane that has power. If you have the advantage within the lane, you want an offensive keystone, and so it makes a lot of sense that lethal tempo would be your go-to.
We talked about it before, how the bottom lane was going to be a pretty big deal here for JDG. Floors towards there, sets up Scuttle, deep vision towards blue side as well, so good early game here for JDG, one that looks a lot better than what we saw in game 1.
Yeah, and Yagao's not concerned about losing a little bit of HE in here. He's just trying to go back to base. So you're right. I mean, early game has been a lot better from JD just because of the picks alone. They went to the back, had their discussion, and they're like, give us better champions in the early game.
Suits the style, doesn't it? When we opened this series, Raz, we said a lot about JDG, how they were a slower team, and they get towards the mid game, they look for these bigger skirmishes. They play some of these slower early games here in the LPL.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. We'll have to see this. We'll talk about it after that.
LvMao getting burnt down just a little bit here. Chocho and LokeN finding a window in this lane, and that's going to be another summoner down while Imp. He's hit the lethal tempo spike once again, and Chocho finds himself with a headshot on the way out. So Imp by himself can do quite a bit of damage.
There we go. This is what you really want to see. The point about a slower paced JD.
Please.
I'm interested in that because for me, a lot of the times I look at JD and say, I don't know what I'm going to be getting today, right? It depends on how well Imp and LvMao is able to accomplish, whatever they're doing in the early games. A lot of times unassisted by jungle.
Yep.
A lot of times they just look for fights. In fact, a lot of the times I just see them getting a straight 2v2 kill, flashing on people underneath tower. They tend to ramp up the pace whenever they get those opportunities. And LvMao, if there's a slow pace in the game, as you saw last time around, man, he roams out and tries to look for action. So on that one, I would say I'm not too sure about.
Okay.
But I will say that they can play slowly. And it's nice to see them play slowly. In fact, during the finals, although they got slammed by Invictus Gaming, that was how they were kind of looking at the series, by playing through scaling type of champions, holding them at an arm's reach, and trying to get to their team fights, because if they can get there, slow-paced gameplay is the best way to get to that point. And at least it should be a more reliable way to play out your composition if that's your team style. But as I said, I mean, it's hard to really give you a clean idea of what JDG looks like outside of the mid game.
We do see them playing slow as well. You got to admit, it's hard to see it, or rather hard to show it in the LPL, because we are, one of the fastest regions in the world. At the moment, we have 5 teams that have an average game time of under 30 minutes.
The fastest game time was actually Top Esports going into Rift Rival as well.
Yeah.
Top Esports were a team that whenever they found advantages either mid lane or top lane, my God, did they just never, they were unrelenting.
Yeah.
They never left it. That's why game 1 felt such a smashing good performance past the early game.
Wow.
Fancy free from Knight.
That's true. Walking through the mid lane. Another point on that, just before we kind of return to the ganks coming through and the Infernal being taken there by Top Esports, is that now the game feels like it's starting to ramp up a little bit here. Vision control back to top towards this bottom side, and Flawless looks like he's still hovering around mid while Aki going to give the blue buff over, and Knight's still in a decent position to start making some roams.
It must be easier now for Yagao once he's able to get his own blue buff, right? Once that's going to be passed over, going to be easier for him to get proper wave clear across and start moving towards the other side of the map, but he's seen here. Good ward being able to catch him out.
Wow. Goes on to him, they just take him! The cat book hits hard, and this is now set up for a double cataclysm down. Aki makes it even cleaner.
Just like that, huh? Catch him out. Get him slowed. Chocho is able to make that happen easily.
Good to see JDG playing slow, but Top Esports coming down, and that's going to ramp things up. 1K gold lead, first blood over to Lucian, and he was already ahead in this lane. That's going to be a cutlass on the way back for sure.
Pure confidence. J4 knew he was the only one there and allowed them the ability to just go for it, right? The only thing he was even needed for was that ultimate kill on top of Imp. But past that point, he was like, I don't see any junglers. Just go ham.
Remember that the final chapter, the first part of it, the very first wave, does extra damage. So that burst just came through and knocked LvMao wide open. Both summoners still available. That's how caught by surprise he was. And 2 kills going over to Top Esports. Now mid freed up a little bit, but maybe not that much. LvMao looking for the roam, trying to make something happen. 369 is here, by the way.
How you doing?
He's just going for a drive-by.
No, the reality is they have switched up lanes now. So
That's true.
Was from the bottom lane. In the replay, they ended up swapping lanes, which is interesting, but they did it for a reason. 10 minutes in, they can get top lane pressured for Rift Herald.
That's the one.
So they're going to be in the area, and it's going to have to be on JD that looks to respond. They sent Caitlyn back bottom lane, which makes it much harder for them to be even touching this.
Back now, Imp heading towards the top side. No teleport to get there fast, but LokeN flashed on the Death Realm. It's just the Lucian and Zoom. The Death Grasp flashed away from it. They don't know what's going on, but we do. Zoom
Get
into
out of
LokeN. He's trying to survive. He does, but the knock-up's there in time. Great communication between Zoom and Flawless.
That was a great use of his ultimate, just to keep him still. I don't need to 1v1 you. I just need to hold you down for Flawless to come in. And we get a good chance to just take a look at the interaction. So yeah, we can see the fight happening.
And Yuumi, of course, when you go into the Death Realm, Yuumi detaches from the Lucian. So no support for LokeN, a true 1v1. And the Blade of the Ruin King now, Lucian, loses the advantage. And JDG might even pick up a Rift Herald off the back.
JD's collapsing on this one too, so they're going to be able to push Top Esports away from this.
Cataclysm available.
Wait
Knight
a minute.
going in with Yuumi, jumps onto Flawless, flashes on in. They secure the Rift Herald, but Flawless has burnt the summoner. Knight looks for the re-engage, but Aki's been caught out by Yagao. Spin to win with a couple of rocks in the sun, and Yagao unable to get Aki, but they burst him away, and Flawless survives. That's what matters with the Rift Herald in hand.
Survives, was able to smite it, so there was no contest there. It was very difficult, you're right. I mean, Knight went straight for him. But good job on JDG to double down. They had the members there and knew that they could pick up the fight if it comes across.
Also able to match the style of top esports here on the top side. And games just go right back to that pace once more with LvMao and him sitting up here now. Knight in the side lane, and the lane matchups here, or rather the change up from top esports is pretty interesting with Knight now backing away.
All right, let's see what we can get out of this. The only concern I had for TOP in that instance was, I mean, they sent their dual lane up top. That's fine. But they just weren't committed. I didn't see Aki actually up top side as well, able to hold the hands of LokeN and Chocho, push in the lane, and then move towards Rift Trail. They had the numbers there. They could have done it, but just weren't on the same page.
Aki now picking up the red buff, moving back towards the top side. And in that play, bit of lane vision dropped on down, but LvMao and Flawless have not been spotted out. Aki walking in, be quiet because here's the light binding, the light beam as well. Aki destroyed with Book coming in too. Now for LokeN picking up the 1-for-1 trade as Flawless takes the rest of the culling. Blade of the Room can't get help, but the ult whiffs because Chocho goes invulnerable. Double kill and LokeN still on the board.
Just like that, the fight was set up by JDG, but top were ready to punch back.
Knight was walking up there as well, so it was only going to get worse from here. Remember, it's 13 minutes in the game, and with that kill topside, Imp is forced to back away. Turret plating and 5 bits of it available now for the bottom side of top.
And they should go wild on this one. I don't like the fact that they're basing. I mean, they're doing it just to get their backs off.
Fair enough.
And be there while the wave crashes top lane. But Rift, you know, turret platings are going to be off in about 20 seconds, so they don't get the opportunity to cash in a little bit more. I'm a greedy man, so.
Would have done it, yeah.
I give people bad advices just so they can get more money.
That's what matters in the end. When you look at a BF sword, you say money well spent. LokeN heading towards those 2 items now. I believe we talked about Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster for someone like the Lucian, yeah. Blade of the Ruin King first changes that, but with the BF sword in hand, you're expecting the Essence Reaver second item, which works so well. JDG taking some money of their own, though, in the top side as Rift Trail gets dropped down, and good escape there by Aki.
Ooh, we'll see if it's a true escape.
Actually just hits, he walks into it, there's the ult again, the final spark into the final flash from Aki. He gets out, but JDG just keep taking stuff from this jungler.
At least he finds himself out scot-free, but he won't be here to defend this top lane turret. Wonder if they're just going to give this one away. In fact, he's sticking around. He's just chugging potions.
Yep, 2 refillables. Smite as well is going to heal him up a little bit. And LokeN and Chocho sticking around. They've got the wave clear here with the extra damage, and they have to be careful. If it's just a 2v2, Imp and LvMao still don't win it out.
Remember, 6 minutes until Baron comes up. The reason why they're doubling down to keep this turret alive is at least to keep the vision control up topside in their hands.
Yeah. Spots out Flawless with the Prey Seeker as well. Backing away now back to his own jungle. And it looks like we're just stuck in lanes while this turret's still up. Imp and LvMao can't push any further forward with Aki. Going to get spotted out here on a wall.
I mean, they can just force a fight and maybe get a flash off Imp and LvMao with Cataclysm. They just have to take the great risk of Yagao now starting to lean up top. So let's see what we can get out of this one.
Weaver's wall. We haven't seen it in action yet, Raz. And here it finally comes. Blocks off the lane. They don't know Aki's there. Those seismic shots into the brush. They get the combo, but LokeN's still alive. The Cataclysm locks them in a corner. And with LokeN on minimal HP, they re-engage. Knight sends himself in. Ignite, Imp, dead. The flash forward. 369 is feeling it. Bit of rum in his belly, and he says, how's that? Chocho even picks up his own kill, and top esports are doing it again.
High execution play. Just like that, doubling down and saying, we don't need to get over that wall. We'll pick up the fight. Cataclysm gets both off with the damage. So well done, specifically from LokeN, Chocho, and Aki to hold their own until Knight came over.
And it was just losing one after another, so Zoom never teleported in as well. Stuck to the bot side. That's a combination between stuck and took to the bottom side. And he'll get the turret as a response, but mid goes down, and top esports in such a comfortable position
that was
yet again.
Just take a look at this. I mean, they fully commit, understanding they can just get straight to the bush. Great, Trinket, recognizing that there was no wards there, so they can use the bush's invisibility to take the first strike. And it works out for them. Knight also just gets right on top of them, so this is just a play of legends.
Ah, the flash for the barrel.
There we go.
Mata still got it. I want to point out that Aki got a 2-man Dragon Flag, and that was just clean. That was fantastic, and I'm really impressed by this substitute jungler once again here in Game 2.
2 games in which I think he's been playing out of his mind.
Yes.
And so I know the discussion about, you know, subbing in your junglers in and out has always been a hot point of topic. Changes the identity of your team maybe at times. Not for JD with the 3 junglers they had once upon a time. But for top esports, man, they have some great talent in the back.
They really do. Being tested here by JDG, but coming out ahead. A Cloud Dragon, theirs. Reset for the next one. They found LvMao into the final chapter again. He can't use the final spark. They're knocked up, knocked back, and that'll be the return. But Knight survives. Aki as well, getting out of there. Zoom looking for the ult. The claw back in. He takes 369. Who oranges? He's out. Thank you, praise that I finally got to see the interaction as Cataclysm comes back in. Aki finds the engage. He lives! Oh my god, the 2 subs helping each other out. Knight comes in to clean up the kill on him. And LokeN looking for flawless. You almost get the prowling projectile, but that's okay. Top Esports still got all they could want.
Leave him alone. Let him run.
Distortion, lockdown, flawless. You're going to spin. You're not going to win. Aki to the rescue.
Just like that. TOP slam JD in fight after fight. That was once again another high execution play, specifically from Aki going out of the fight, back in with Cataclysm to hold him firm for LokeN to dash in with Chocho. So communication is not an issue with this team.
No.
They are on point with how they're playing these fights.
Sure, we're going to get a replay in a second, but Knight just clawing his way through and everyone just surviving by the margin.
Yeah, the MVP of that fight for me was simply Aki.
Yeah.
That was legitimately it. So I don't even need to see a replay off that one. Personally, I'm just going to say I would opt out. But, boy, you love to see that from players making that first step into the league.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be taking a pro view look.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. This is LeBlanc's viewpoint, though. But you get to see the ghost signal just from the jungler alone. In fact, he was farming it up.
It's like, you'll be right.
Waiting for his cooldowns, I suppose. Just needs 3 more seconds on his W.
Comes in, deletes it. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Imp hit him once with the Infinity Edge. And he was thinking he was going to get something out of it, but this is just the final.
Well, he just wanted to cut through the jungle.
Yeah.
See? So that's a good viewpoint alongside with J4. Cuts through. He almost died here. So that's one of the points of focus is that he almost died through, but the EQ combination from
the ping going down
helps him out. I would have much rather, and he's going to put in my dime and say that I would love to see Aki's point of view.
Yeah.
But the point of view stream is going for a Knight on that one, so I'd like to see the plays coming through, and at least he gets the viewpoint of J4.
They're looking at Knight because he has a Bajais now as well. How did he get it? Well, after that fight, he got 8 stacks, and he's picked up 12. So I think, yeah,
what did he
in
miss?
The replay, we missed it. He picked up 4 more stacks, Raz.
How did he do it? Caitlyn was alone.
Okay.
A cardinal sin. Never be
There
alone, my friends. Always have a friend.
4 or 2, doesn't matter. He's on 12 stacks now, so LeBlanc is in absolute nuke territory this game, and want to see that from Yagao, but right now, our mid lane focus in our mid lane matchup, like game 1, is once again going to Knight.
Yeah, Knight's just dominating, and I think a lot of it's happening because of competent jungle pressure coming in from Aki. 369's been handling himself well as well.
Yep.
This game has been fairly dominated by LokeN and Chocho. They've all been on the same page. And so here's another one.
Wow, the flag and drag flash into the final chapter of JDG, no doubt. Aki survives, and Chocho and him make such a good team.
Give this man an MVP.
Right now.
Right? I don't even need to see the game end. And give him a starting position. Even if it's not on this team somewhere.
This is the play that gives you an opportunity, whether starting position or in future, another LPL team. The showcase is here, and from Chocho as well. They're combining well. And Top Esports are going to pick up the Baron off of that sick play.
The spotlight is on Aki for how well he's been playing in the 2 games that we've seen. It's a real damn shame that this is the first time that we're getting a look at him.
Yeah. Someone who's, been through the LDL. We have a lot of talent in the LDL, by the way.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of great players that. And remember, this is the championship split.
Yep.
This is how we get to see new teams come in. There may be franchising, but it's not as if we don't have a promotion in the league. But take a look at this.
Get to see it again. Yeah. Always looks so good. We've seen so many players mess that up, and when you get it right, feels that good. So Aki setting it up, double kill over to LokeN in that play. He's 7-1-3 and well, so suffering from success. I've seen on the internet. 7-1-3 with 3 items just about. The QSS optimized, but doesn't take away because he's 2 items over him.
For me, it's always about the follow-up, and he always has, members around to follow up on the plays that, he looks to make. This time around, rotating around mid lane, if he looks for something right here, LokeN's in the area to come through.
He's 2 levels ahead of Flawless as well.
Hell yeah, yeah.
2 versus 3. There's the GP. Oh, Cataclysm onto 3. Here comes LokeN with a follow-up. He goes Golden One. Chocho suffers from his own success. The subs out Aki at half health, but still survives. Right now, it's too easy for top.
Hashtag Team Aki. Who's with me?
Wow, LokeN just ran in and forced him out with a flash as well.
That's not Aki. I don't care.
Okay.
I only care about Aki.
Doesn't have Cataclysm as a flash. He'll have a flag and drag though, Raz, so we'll wait for the next one.
My first child is going to be named Aki.
And what a beautiful son or daughter they will be.
Yeah.
Top Esports are cleaning this out. No need for Zoom to walk in because he might just die. And really, the story for JDG right now is how can you find 5 fights in a row that bring you back in this game somehow? No, you don't. You won't find it because Knight's there with 16 stacks.
This is one of those games you want to forget if you're JD.
Yes.
Because it's just outright domination in individual performance.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say too much. I feel like Yagao played the early portions of the game well.
Yeah.
But a lot of it came down to, confidence amongst Knight and LokeN to play how they're playing. Same with Aki as well, knowing that they're always playing near alongside. The vision control's always been on point too. If you just take a look at the minimap, control wards galore in the red side jungle. It's allowing Knight to do what he's doing right now.
Means JDG can't be here. Zoom's under threat already, and red buff. Yeah, get it.
Nah, you don't.
Knight has it.
You're not allowed to have it.
I'm actually worried about Zoom here as a proto belt, but Book again sends it out. Final chapter culling. It'll finish it. Yes, it will. LokeN flashes for it, and thank you so kindly. 18 stacks for Knight. Let's keep them coming.
All right. At least we, fought for a red buff on that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, Flawless takes a hit. Now he's getting deja vu from Knight.
So who's next? Who's dying? It's going to be Yagao.
Oh, wow, that ult. LokeN runs in. It's your boy, Aki, in the front, Raz, but Chocho almost dies under the turret himself. With the cannon barrage, with a pick onto Zoom, I think this game is just done.
Place your bets on who's dying next. Flawless looks pretty juicy right now.
I think there's one more fight in the flash there from Knight onto him. Aki follows up as well. There he is, Raz. Take a look, because Yagao doesn't get to look him in the eyes as he dies. LvMao takes a barrel. Knight runs forward, and this was a stomp against JDG. Top Esports return hard.
An emphatic punch to the face. That was the most dominant series I have ever seen. Just based off of 2 hardened competitors. 2 playoff prone, you have to believe, players. Top 4 last split. JDG was the finalist, and Top were, of course, the loser of the 3rd place match. But the way you look at this, you would think that Top were champions.
Yeah.
And they did it in your own damn house, too.
On top of that, DX Master's not going to be happy about that.
Nah, he's not going to be talking for a little bit.
But it's not about him, Raz. It's about the tallest man on that squad.
He is tall.
And Aki played out of his mind. What a performance when you come into a roster like that with high expectations on players like Knight and 369, and you can even outperform them or perform at their level.
Look, this is a word of advice. Don't go sick. Never, always be healthy. Because this might happen. Yeah. You don't want these questions coming out, XX. You don't want questions now coming in. This guy coming in wild on this one series.
Yeah.
Because suddenly now there's a question where there wasn't a question before. Always be healthy. Take your vitamins. Drink your juices.
Do what Flandre does.
Don't take flights.
Every single time.
Because someone's coming for you now.
Because it's one thing to perform against Kanavi. And you're like, yeah, that was Kanavi. Then you go up against Flawless, their core jungler. And then that's another level.
You went up against an entire army.
Yeah.
No, that was really clean from Aki. That was, that makes you think a little bit.
Makes you think, but it's impressive. It's good. When you see a new talent like this, there's a moment to be proud.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
This is not going to be a good conversation.
You're just thinking, what happens next?
What happens XX? No, but seriously, Aki played, like, got to talk about the positives in the conversation, which is Aki is really good.
He's good.
And he's really clued in with the team, because a lot of the times my question when it comes to a player coming out, starting for the team immediately, I mean, how nervous he is number one. Is he prepared to be able to play in a competitive environment like this? And I'm just talking about a Premier League, like the LPL. Can you play to your expectations? That was that and then some. And he was playing all the meta champions too. It's not like he's coming in as a Kindred player or a Lee Sin player. He's just like, no, I'm playing the meta champions.
Yeah. Also, props to Chocho, who was the other sub who normally plays AD carry, and I think that was the cleanest time catch. As a comparison, Chelly yesterday from OMG played supporter, didn't look like that. Today, Chocho, yes, surrounded by great players, but was playing to his limits as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, Chocho is always going to be a strong competitor on that one. I'm just going to be able to put that out and say that Ben is a world-class support.
Ben is.
So, it's nice to be able to see Chocho coming in and spotlight on him.
Good to have a backing foundation.
Playing
like
as well as he did.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to see Ben come back in for the team, and that's always going to be something that I know TOP is also looking towards, resolving that visa situation. But there's a situation right now, and it's not that visa.
No.
It's a situation in the jungle.
You're so concerned.
I'm that jungle man.
I think it's good.
It's very good. It's too good.
I mean, we got a lot of teams in the LPL who have rotating junglers, and
the issue here is, for me, when it comes to top, like, they have great players.
Yeah.
I think XX is incredibly communicative. He's a strong individual talent. He showcases the strongest points of his play in the regular season. The only issue is that we got to see the other side of, XX and 369 is it's not just that one player. It's everyone as a unit coming in, and when they get into a spotlight situation like the playoffs in particular, and then you see them at the Rift Rivals as another example, that we see a lesser version of themselves. Yes. And so it's going to be interesting to see the experimentation coming in for the future, because this is not like a Forge versus Rookie situation where Forge plays well, but at the end of the day, Rookie's there.
This is like...
It's a situation where you still have questions about the initial starting player, but now you see somebody who's performing that good against not a schmuck. Like, they're going up against great competition.
Yeah.
They're going up against real good competition.
Yep.
And not only just handled himself, he handled other people.
Yes. He
He
took
handled
over.
plural. He knew how to snowball a game when it was given to him.
Because Aki's ahead, Knight 369. They look even more accelerated than they normally are.
It is injustice if he doesn't get MVP.
Yeah.
I don't care how well like LokeN played
I'm still waiting, bro.
or Knight played. Injustice.
You know who's going to get MVP just cause. It'll be Knight who gets MVP.
No, it'll be LokeN. If anybody, it'll be LokeN.
You think?
Because he went wild off his Lucian pick.
That's true.
But I'm just saying, it's going to be Aki.
Okay.
I have faith in the people in the back.
It's all right. We'll make our own MVP if it's not, okay?
I know who it's going to be. Don't even say that.
Look, either way, I think you can agree with me that for top esports, this is good news. This is, at the moment, second best team.
Yes.
In the LPL, and they're playing like one.
I mean, based off the standings, you are right.
Excuse me.
Based off the standings, you are correct. But there's always that, inkling that we saw in Rift Rivals that the top two teams right now are FPX
Top 4
and Invictus
team
Gaming.
is
Well,
fair.
I mean, that wasn't even a question. But FPX and Invictus Gaming.
Yeah.
And then you start having that conversation between where is top in that, between RNG that's made that stride for themselves, LNG that we'll be seeing later tonight as well in our match of the week. There's a lot that are being thrown up, but right now there's one individual that's slamming it down.
You like him. I get it. I've never seen you so excited about a player. Maybe Forge. Except for Forge.
I mean, Forge has been good.
I mean, Forge, you love Forge.
Yeah,
We all
I
love Forge. Actually. We love Forge.
But I guess that's something that we're going to be looking closer to towards the Top's next series.
Yeah.
For me, what's going to be fun is going to be the next match coming up. The match that we've been all looking forward to. The one where LNG, formerly known as Snake for you people out there that don't get to watch a lot of the LPL, get to have that chance versus EDG.
Yeah.
Remember, they were known as brothers on the streets. It was, when they were in Shanghai, it was them, BLG, and EDG that were on the same block, on the same street, sharing delivery and all of that.
I walked past the plays.
Scrim partners, heavy scrim partners at the time. They know each other incredibly well. And so whenever you saw formerly Snake, but now LNG, going up against EDG, they understood each other in terms of how they draft, how they play in the map. So you always get the most hectic games.
Off topic. I'm going to give you
it's
MVP for
always
the
off
last game
topic.
before we get there. Yeah.
Who is it?
It's not LokeN, it's not Knight, it's not Aki, it's Chocho. I was complimenting him, Raz, for a good reason. Actually, 20% damage on Yuumi's big, but at least one of them got it, Raz. Yes? Hello?
I'm not talking.
Chocho's the MVP of game number 2. Yuumi play went hand in hand with Aki. I think it's fair that we give it to the jungle as well, but
yeah, this was a great play. So ultimately,
yeah,
Chocho played incredibly well. He did. And, you know, Aki didn't come in with the final slam. It didn't happen. Don't even hate your eyes from the screen. Chocho did play well this series. I just wanted Aki to get this one shot. I will say, because I talked about Chocho's story coming into the series, how, you know, he came into this organization as Dan Gaming alongside Cat.
Yeah, the qualifying.
He's been with the story.
Yep.
He's been with the team with a long story. When they changed up, when they completely overhauled the roster, you know, when Cat became a commentator and everyone else essentially found their own way, he stuck by, found a new role as a support, and damn, he's playing it well.
Yeah.
So it's always the best. The best supports are always like a really good AD carry because they understand the lane dynamics so well and what the AD carry wants. So whenever you see plays like this, yeah, Chocho comes out strong and he deserves MVP. You know who deserve it more though?
Aki. Watch it, right? This is your favorite play of his, or at least one of them.
So who's the one that goes in with this play?
Apparently Chocho, because he goes next to him.
Yeah, Chocho.
Yeah.
So I'll say if we're talking about MVP rankings, it's going to be Aki #1 because it's definitely Chocho that made this play happen.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely Chocho that got this going for him.
Yeah, Chocho #2.
And then it's Chocho #2. Why did we see a Jarvan highlight reel?
I know.
And then we threw it to Chocho.
2 of the plays were the Cat.
I had enough of this.
The other 5 were Aki, so it's still a well played for Top Esports. At 2-0 at the end of the day, still state something. I'm just trying to, yeah. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a small break. Raz is going to recover, think about the last series, and we're going to go to match of the week with LNG and EDG right after this. Don't go anywhere.
这边直接硬打，岩雀一个
打上来，
强，
两边 TP 都落了，这个位置是要打一波正面的团战，但是位置被分割了，看来 BLG 目前为止没有团爆齐呀。
对，这边盲僧第一时间被打的时候交出闪现，但是长虹已经顶不住了，长虹这里先倒了，后续 Mark 交出自己一个中亚，但是这个位置感觉是跑不掉了。
而且这里节点到了之后可以继续点嘎啦这位置应该是在劫难逃。
绿毛往前顶一顶，但这个夹子怎么说？
但有波小兵出来了，舔了一下，哦，精神规避一个大招。
不过夜普这边很给劲儿，闪现拿下了大树的人头，同时 Mason 这边有闪现也走不太掉了。
Mason 也倒下了。
啊，关键时刻夜普顶住了。
哎，京东有想法，反而是京东这边觉得，哎，你要再上来的话
，Mason 这边很肉啊，开始白盾硬顶一手，并且沙皇这边哪里来的？绕过了一个 TP。 哇，这里的话双杀了一个 C 位。TP 没有赶过来，平时POS 这边的话交了一个闪现，好像还是走不掉呀。恐惧到之后，但伤害来讲打不太动，怎么又睡到？
睡到了，队友第一时间没有出手，有个金身，看一下后续伤害好像有点打不动这个塞恩。
这边这个稻草人的大招伤害很高，京东这边前面吃不太消啊，继续往前追击，基克斯这边收下2个人头，后续跑起来了，拿下了3杀。沿途突得很漂亮，现在这个位置很尴尬呀，在塔下想反打，一普拿下了一个人头，后续的一个进场，大兵这边想反打，Zoom这边打套伤害来说拉开距离，大舅子的一个输出还不错，一个神长洗礼先收了一个潘森，
又是个沿途突到3个人。 这波后续的话，没有人处理 mistake。
悔恨会磨平我们灵魂中的棱角。
势在必得，现在看看皇子，
刚才回家去防守了，现在 TP 还没有赚好，利桑卓 TP 就差2秒钟，但是那个2秒钟，刚才那个闪现怎么回事？皇子这个时候想要进来搭不上去，把它填满了以后，吞到肚里了。比赛肚里总没有办法下来抢龙了吧？
而且现在他下来是带着春哥的尸体下来的，
这边
决定不卖了，
跳上去硬锤，不卖了，不卖了。猪妹再顶上去 ，EZ 只能疯狂输出猪妹，贾克斯一个人在后面扛着所有人的输出，再也顶不住了。
进化的代价是必要的死亡。
现在要撤退，得留人卖命断后。利桑卓一个冰雕雕起来，想要断后。然而 B5 在解决了利桑卓之后，继续往前挺进。这一次已经没有地方走了，再被
要自杀了吗？
要夸抓，要夸抓，来让一下夸抓，顶住。没有让 Ace。
好兄弟，好兄弟，好兄弟。
是时候表演真正的技术了。
老干爹要直指大龙，这一把就不需要犹豫太久了。21分钟的时间点，算是 on time 的 rush 大龙。
看好了。
看看后续的3个人有没有办法阻止。1.2现在远处拉了一个大招，打到的是 Yuki， 但是 Yuki 还可以持续的给队伍一个护盾，而遗憾的是在龙坑上面在找机会有没有进入去抢。这一手就看遗憾的了。正面 Cos 也还在积极的贡献输出，大龙也还在输出，但是老干爹想要先歼灭掉正面的人员，
能力全开。
这边的克斯是已经倒下了，但大龙的血量也降得比较危机。Crystal 疯狂的 poke， 这时候找到一个机会把 Kramer 给偷掉。正面找到了一个猪妹的一个位置，猪妹下来，大龙血量1000多点。这时候大龙的话会被 OH 给抢掉啊 ！Oh my god！
不知道队友们都有多强。过一阵儿，我要邀请他们和我一起训练。
我是末日。
都有想法，一个 W，
走位很好啊，这边刘劲松。西贝尔在上面也不敢下来，
这里要打4v4了吗？
海南绕后，但这里有视野，
明明这个位置被发现，
这边留了，
预备大招。
可以闪现大招进场，
来个加速，这边要先杀一个，让剑魔先复活。
囚禁我的人们将付出痛苦的代价。
有机会，林伟翔已经被秒了。剑魔的话现在有复活的能力，流星度也被砍掉。这边毫无疑问，老干爹的爆发能力更强，他们打得更果断一些。小天也跑不掉了，剑魔红，这个大灭红大灭下来根本不怕你啊！
死亡是一种仁慈。
第一波的 gank 马上要开起来，后补身上是有盾的，他们的集火目标会是谁？先打 Mako， 但这边有一个风墙把前面 Misty 的第一波输出给打掉了。而旁边的话交出闪现之后，悲伤是隔墙带着猫逃跑，但杰杰跟了上来，但身上吃了一个虚弱。杰杰，哎呀，临死之前还是拿掉了这边的1血，而且死之后还有一定的作战能力。但旁边的话 ，Misty 已经上手拿了双 buff 之后拿到了2个人头，但 Gino 已经起逼下来，而且死之前又再次一枪取掉了后部的性命。
败到了我的设计之下。
莫甘娜的护盾没有给出来，先交治疗，因为他想等着护盾保护自己的霞。霞这边一个倒钩，我直接把他秒了。莫甘娜这边盾再给自己，这波维克多的闪打得不错。莫甘娜终于是被击杀，但霞这边漫天飞雨放出来之后，回着一个倒钩拉满了，交闪现，但闪的稍微有点晚。而且这波赛恩因为不在正面，所以 OMG 这边没有人能顶住前排，帮助霞制造输出空间。维克多这波在追击当中拿到一个3杀。
要不保野兽的话，你就是食物了。
有龙吗？哎，这里
过来，正面的团战，要被秒了吗？
黄盖这里有个视野啊！哎，
进场，
大的效果还可以，但是刘青松这里是死战，
泰克要斩击呀！后续的伤害没有人再给到了。
今天是狩猎的好日子。
有闪现，泰克这边要斩了，大招上来，哎呀，没有刷新。
但是这把普攻还是要开机先等死了。
哎，现在又拉过来一个加里啊，这边李伟翔收割了。
爬起来，站稳了，狠狠的打。
李伟翔收割了，李伟翔输出环境太完美了，哎，有没有多杀？4杀。
世界一直在变化，结果由我们来决定。